Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to Gems and Pearls with Love. If you are new, my name is Caitlin Clarice. On the channel, I talk about biblical womanhood, mostly being a godly wife, godly mother, homemaking, biblical femininity, and the like. So if those topics interest you, you can go ahead and subscribe. So ladies, today I'm going to be talking about 3 different things that us as wives should stop doing today. Although I am saying that we should stop doing these things today, if we are going to be realistic, some of these things you are not going to be able to stop literally this exact moment. I mean, maybe some of you can, but if you have been doing these 3 things for a long period of time, most likely it's going to take some time for you to break these bad habits and replace it with better habits. The longer you practice something, the more you practice something, whether that is something that is good or that's something that is bad, the easier and more natural it's going to come. So if you've been doing these things, it's going to take some time for you to honestly break these bad habits, and you might find yourself you might find you are catching yourself doing these things, and yeah, it's gonna take time. So take it easy on yourself. I mean, as I said, for some of you it might be instant, some not so much. I know for me, some of these things I'm working on myself. I said it before on the channel, although it's been a while, so I'm going to say it again. I'm not coming to you as someone that is perfect, that has it all together, all figured out, Mrs. Perfect wife, perfect mother, perfect homemaker, and coming and talking to you guys, telling you this is what you ought to be doing. I'm on this journey as much as you guys are. I am learning as much as you guys are. We are doing this together. Me having this channel and talking with you ladies is me bringing you guys along my journey and hoping that you invite me to be a part of your journey so that I can encourage you, so that we can build each other up. So your girl is still learning. Anyways, I rambled on quite a bit already, so let's get into it. Number 1, stop trying to change him. We may not even recognize that we are doing this, but when we are constantly trying to correct him and get him to do things or see things the way that we do, that's what we are doing. It's like we are trying to change him. We are trying to mold him into another version of us. What we must remember is that just because somebody is doing something differently than we would, doesn't mean that it's wrong. Different doesn't always equal wrong. Sometimes there are different ways of doing things that are still right and that are still okay. We do not need to be trying to correct him and trying to get him to do everything the way that we do. If you would have handled that situation with your child differently, okay, but that's not the way he's handling it, and it's okay if he's handling it in a different way. Obviously, well, I hope that it'll be obvious anyways, as long as nobody is being abused. Everybody's still safe. If he is just handling things, or he is just doing things differently than we would, that's okay. We don't need to try to change him. We don't need to try to make him do things the way that we would, or even see things in the way that we would, okay? When we are constantly trying to change our husband, we are communicating to them that they are not good enough for us as they are, that they are not accepted. And we don't want him to feel that way. We ourselves wouldn't want to feel that way. We want as humans to know that we are accepted and loved and respected for who we are and where we are at. So that's the thing. Like, I know as women, because of our nature to be nurturing, it's within us to just want to, like, mother him almost in a sense, or really mother our children or nurture our children. But we have to remember that this is another grown adult. He's not our child. And honestly, I'm not for the whole thing about joking about our husbands being another one of our children. It is honestly disrespectful and degrading. And as wives are told in scripture that we are to respect our husbands. So if that's the thing that you do, you should really pray about that. You should really repent, to be honest, and apologize. We do not want to be treating him as a child, or even joking about him being one of our children. He is a grown man, and yes, there are differences, but we should celebrate those differences. Number 2 would be stop having a bad attitude. As I just said previously, we are told in scripture that we are to respect our husband. It is disrespectful when we are having a bad attitude, when we are belittling him with our words, when we are being sarcastic in a rude way, when maybe it's not even the words we say, but it's the tone in which we say it. Remember, communication is a lot bigger than just the words. Words is such a small part of communication. We communicate with our tone, we communicate with our facial expressions, we communicate with our body language. So we have to check ourselves. Like, take the time, love, to check yourself and realize, like, how are you communicating with him? And something that I have found, sometimes we don't even realize, especially if you've done it for so long, you may not even realize that you are communicating with an attitude. But what might be an indication is how he responds to you. So he might even respond with the tone, or the way that he looks, or the way that he shifts around. You might honestly see some visible cues that can kind of give you a hint to make you realize that the way I said that was not the best. Why you're giving attitude, that can be for various reasons. Maybe you are just hungry. Maybe you're tired. You just had a really long and frustrating day with the kids, at work. Maybe it's a certain time of the month where you are very hormonal. Whatever the reason is, we cannot make it be that, we cannot let that excuse it in a sense where it doesn't make it okay. Regardless of what the reason is, even if you have a very good reason, like something horrible happening, I would hope he would give you the grace for that. But at the end of the day, it is not okay. And it's something that we need to work on. And, regardless of what is going on, or even if he is spoken to you in a way that you don't really like, or you thought was kind of rude, we are responsible for our own actions. We are not to overcome evil with evil. We are to overcome evil with good. So regardless of the situation, take a time to take a deep breath. Count to 10 in your head if you need to. If you're able to, depending on the situation, to go and get some alone time, get some space. But we need to definitely speak to our husbands respectfully. And when we have slipped up, because we are humans, and we are likely going to slip up here and there, we need to apologize. It's not something to continue just, oh, well, so it's all good, it happened, whatever. No. We need to apologize. Go to him and say, you know what? I was honestly not in the best mood, and I realized that my tone was kind of sharp, or I did roll my eyes when you said such and such. That was rude. That was disrespectful, and I'm sorry. Okay? Number 3. We need to stop expecting our husband to read our mind. This is something that I myself am trying to undo the habit of, per se. Like, even on social media, it's all over that us women, when we are asked, hey, is everything okay? Is something wrong? Because they can tell by our body language. They can tell something's wrong. We're visibly upset, and you respond with, "I'm okay, I'm fine." When we know that we are not okay and we are not fine, it's made to be something comical because it's so common. But really, honestly, guys, it's something that I think we should really stop. We should really stop, and we really need to work on communicating how we are truly feeling. Here's the thing: there may be things going on in our mind at the time that we actually don't really need to be communicating. Maybe we are at that certain time of the month and we are just irritable. So there could be something that is really nothing that we need to be coming and discussing with him and saying, honestly, I'm just annoyed because you left your socks on the floor or whatever the case is. Like, maybe the circumstances were different. What happened is something that wouldn't really bother you as much, and or we're just kind of just being discontent. Whatever the situation is, there are just some things that we really don't need to be going to your husband about and telling him about. There are things that really honestly just don't matter. And if it's one of those things that has caused you to be looking sad or looking angry or appearing to be upset, and then he asks you like what's wrong, one of the things I suggest is maybe try saying something like, you know what, I'm still trying to kind of process what's going on right now, so if you can just give me some time, we'll talk about this later. Something like that, because you may realize that after you get alone and you pray about it or you write in your journal, whatever you do, you may realize that, okay, this is not something, this is really not anything at all, and it's not something to bring it up. So the reason why I think something like that would be helpful, because if you go ahead and say the things that are on your mind, that could just start an argument or cause him to be feeling a way that he doesn't need to feel, an argument that doesn't need to happen because it's really over nothing. But at the same time, if you say I'm fine when you are not fine, then he's going to be frustrated because he knows you enough to know that something is wrong. So if we're going to say I'm fine or I'm good when we are not, that is also going to cause a problem. So that's why I'm thinking, and that was just a suggestion I came up with. I'm sure there's other things you can maybe say to kind of say that, like kind of delay saying what's on your mind, but also not denying that there's something wrong. So anyway, you say something on those lines, like, you know what, I'm kind of just thinking through something right now, or I'm kind of just going through something right now. Can we just talk about this later? And then after you had your time and you realize that it's really nothing, and maybe you were even just hungry, and now that you've had a meal, you feel so much better. Then at that point in time, you can maybe go to him and say, honestly, I was just hungry. I was just hungry, or it's that time of the month right now, or whatever the case is. So I'm feeling a little down, or whatever the situation is, and kind of just say that. So that way, you are acknowledging that there was something that was going on with you. You're not just saying fine, but at the same time, you're also not starting an argument that doesn't need to be started. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Now, if it is something that is wrong and there's something that you really do need to discuss with him, it's something that is truly bothering you, truly weighing on you, you've already prayed about it, you know that this is real. You're not just hungry, you're not just tired, you're not just hormonal, something is really going on, then I would definitely recommend pick a time where, it's a good time for you. It's also a good time for him. So timing is everything, ladies. We gotta learn from Esther. She picked a specific time when she was going to make her request. And go ahead and have that conversation when you know that your emotions are under control. We need to learn to express what is it that we want and what is it that we need. If we need help with something, we feel overwhelmed, we need to practice communicating that. Just saying, honestly, it's been a really rough day. I really would have really appreciate some help. Or, I just need a moment to myself. Like, communicate what is it that you need from him. What is it that you want him to do? we have to stop assuming that he has bad intentions. And what I mean by that is we might say to ourselves, oh my gosh, he's only just, he only just didn't give me flowers for my birthday because he doesn't really love me. Or he's only doing this because he doesn't care. We are to think the best of others. We are to believe the best in others, especially our husband. We should stop assuming that he hasn't done this or he's done this because he doesn't care. Let's take the time to realize that maybe it's because he just, again, is not us. And he may just not have thought of it the way that we thought of it. Maybe his mind is so occupied on something that you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like, chaos is happening in the house. Like, I'm cooking dinner. The kids are being wild. Something's going on with them. Why isn't he stepping in and taking care of this situation? You might be thinking, he's just not doing that because he just doesn't care, or he's just lazy. Or maybe his mind is so focused on something right now that he's not even really realizing what's happening. For whatever reason it might be, it may not be, and in most cases, it's likely not that he's purposely ignoring because he doesn't care. So maybe just saying, hey honey, I noticed that Tommy and Sally are fighting. Like, do you mind just kind of dealing with that? And just respectfully asking him and letting our requests be known to him, telling him what is it that we want from him, telling him what it is that we need. Honestly, I truly believe a lot of arguments could have been prevented in my marriage and possibly in your marriage if we as women would learn to just start communicating and letting our wants and our needs to be known in a respectful, non-nagging, non-attitude way. If we would realize that our husbands are more than glad to do a lot of the things that we are asking of him. Alright ladies, and that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and go ahead and let me know in the comments what other things that you may struggle with. Are any of these 3 things, are these things that you do as wives? I know, as I said previously, I know these are some things that I as well, some of these things anyway, that I as well am working on stop doing. And what about you ladies? Go ahead and share this video with anyone that you think this may encourage or be edifying to. Until next time, bye!